exactly 8:24 p.m., Mr. Smith pulled his beat-up sedan to a screeching halt at the west wing of St. Jude's Hospital. The tires smoked, the engine wheezed, and his heart pounded harder than it had in years. His wife Mary sat beside him, her hands gripping her belly, beads of sweat trailing down her pale face. "The baby's coming," she gasped. "No kidding," he muttered, throwing the car into park and sprinting to fetch a wheelchair. Moments later, two nurses rushed out, their faces grim but professional, whisking Mary through the automatic doors. The clock ticked mercilessly on the wall above Mr. Smith's head. He sat there in the lime green vinyl chair, tapping his foot, his mind racing faster than his old sedan had. On the way here at 9:47 p.m., a doctor in a crisp white coat entered the waiting room. His face was a mask of careful control. Too careful.
"Mr. Smith?" the doctor asked.
Smith jumped to his feet. "How is she? How's my wife?" "She's stable," the doctor said, offering a small practice smile. "She'll be fine, but your son..." He hesitated. Smith's stomach dropped. "My son..." His voice cracked under the weight of the words. The doctor folded his arms and took a step closer, as if bracing for the impact his next words might deliver. "There were complications during the birth," he began, "and your son, he was born without feet." Smith blinked, his mind raced through all the images he'd conjured of playing soccer with his boy, running through the park, teaching him to ride a bike. Gone, all of it, but then, as quickly as the thoughts arrived, they vanished. "No problem, Doc," Smith said, his voice steady. "He's my son, I'll love him with all my heart." The doctor shifted uncomfortably. He looked down at his clipboard, then back at Smith. "I'm afraid that's not all," he continued. "Your son, he has no legs either." Smith's jaw tightened. He took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. "Legs, no legs, it doesn't matter. I'll carry him wherever he needs to go. He's my boy." The doctor nodded, clearly moved by the man's resolve, but he wasn't finished. "There's one more thing," he said. Smith raised a hand, silencing him. "Whatever it is, I don't care. Just tell me where he is. I want to see him." At 10:12 p.m., the doctor led Smith through a set of double doors, down a long hallway that smelled of antiseptic and quiet despair. They stopped in front of a small room where a curtain was drawn around a cot. "Before I show you, I need to prepare you," the doctor said, his tone hushed. "Your son was also born without arms or hands," and he hesitated. Smith squared his shoulders. "And what?" The doctor sighed. "And no body, Mr. Smith, just a pair of eyes." Smith's breath hitched. "Eyes," the doctor nodded grimly. He reached for the curtain and slowly pulled it back. On a soft white pillow lay the most fragile, unthinkable sight Smith had ever seen. A pair of bright blue eyes blinked up at him. No limbs, no torso, nothing but those eyes shimmering like sunlight reflected on a calm sea. Smith stood there frozen for what felt like hours, and then he did something the doctor didn't expect. He smiled. "They're mine," Smith said softly, a tear trailing down his cheek. "They're my eyes." He knelt by the cot, resting a hand gently on the edge of the pillow. "Son," he whispered, his voice full of love and steel, "you'll never go a day without knowing how much I care. No matter what, you'll always have my heart." The doctor wiped a tear from his eye and said, "Just one more thing. Your son's blind."